Well, joining us now from the Mexican border city of Tijuana is writer and political analyst Andrea Noel. Welcome to the program, Andrea. What does the killing of El Mencho mean for Mexico's criminal landscape and the balance of power among the country's cartels?
Hi, thank you for having me. Well, this is honestly one of the most significant blows we've seen, probably the most significant capture since El Chapo. What we're probably going to see in the next few days is an increase in not only the violence that we saw today with significant road blockages, but it's probably going to be an extensive 3-4 day period at a minimum of visible public displays of power. There's a vacuum that's just been created, and there's a need to display this power. And they've obviously taken the opportunity to create a sense of chaos in the country. And I think that's going to continue for the next several days.
As you say, we're already seeing a violent reaction to the killing of El Mencho. Could this trigger an even broader wave of violence, either internal power struggles within his organization or direct confrontation with the Mexican government?
Absolutely. The story, which unfortunately repeats constantly whenever these sorts of things happen, and we've seen it time and time again with the Sinaloa cartel, with essentially every cartel, is when you decapitate the leader of an organization, you go from organized crime to disorganized crime. So by creating this power vacuum, we tend to see prolonged power struggles that are also inter-organizational. So you'll start to see fragmentation and disputes between the up-and-comers within the organization who begin to vie for power. And it's actually very interesting because that's the origin story of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. They emerged from a power struggle and took advantage of an opportunity about 15 years ago and became a very prominent, but it's all splinters. It splinters all the way down. So whenever there's a fragmentation, you get another splinter, and it's kind of, you start to play whack-a-mole with all of these different organizations. It's very, very likely that we might even see splinter groups begin to emerge from the Jalisco cartel that will rebrand and have new names.
And what do we know so far about the role of the US government? How involved has Washington been in this operation and in Mexico's broader fight against organized crime?
So far, officially, the version hasn't become super clear in terms of how involved the US was, but it's quite evident, and the feeling in general in Mexico amongst the populace is that the US was absolutely involved. We know that Mencho and the cartel have been very, very involved in financing the political campaigns, and there are a lot of politicians in Mexico who directly benefit from the prolonged reign of the Jalisco cartel. It's very evident, especially on the heels of what we saw happen in Venezuela with the sequestering, let's say, of Nicolas Maduro, that the US is looking to place its hands directly in the mix. They're trying to go after the heads. They're doing, what the Mexican government, frankly, has been incapable of doing. So the official version so far, there's no direct confirmation. The Mexican State Department did issue a statement saying that there was a exchange of information, direct cooperation in that regard. But officially in Mexico, it's being treated as a victory for the Mexican authorities who directly went after El Mencho successfully. And also took live several members of the cartel. I think we're going to find out more information in the next upcoming days, and I'm sure that as soon as Trump gives a statement, there might be a little bit more of a loose lip in that regard.
Okay, Andrea Noel, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you so much again for joining us on the program.